Hello, good morning, good morning, morning. Um, Welcome back to the show. So, as you guys can see behind me, you can't actually see my bedroom anymore because I got a green screen. Still trying to work on the lighting and getting all that stuff out so the shadow's gone. I also got this interesting, awesome mic stand, but I forgot to order the microphone, so that's coming in today. And then we'll have some better sound quality for you guys in the future. Anyway, so today by request we're looking at Jun-Seo Bae versus Popov from Russia. Popov I haven't really seen before. Junbei I just heard I've seen a couple of his fights and this guy literally gapped everyone at World Championships and I don't think I've ever seen that before. The only time I ever saw something like that was Daehoon in 2014 Asian Games and he beat everyone by like 30 points and that was super crazy. So what I like about this one, especially for you smaller fighters, is this is kind of the game plan that I see winning for smaller fighters, and so you guys may be able to take some tips out of this about how to fight in the clinch, how to beat someone who's a taller opponent, and kind of how to deal with that. So we're gonna take a quick look at this guy, give you guys some tips and tactics about what to do in the clinch specifically. And if you guys have any more clips of Junbei or Junseo, please send them my way. I tried looking on the courts, but every court's like 3 hour long recording, and you have to like jump. And I've seen I saw his semifinal, but that was like super spliced. So if you guys find any good clips of this guy or fights where it's not like fast forwarded through, please send it my way. I really would appreciate that. Um, please comment that below. Anyway, so let's get into the show. So we're watching the final of the World Championships. Jinseo has literally gapped everyone, and if you don't know what gap means that you're leading by 20 points or more by the time the second round ends, and they just discontinue the fight because there's in the Taekwondo world opinion, which is fairly true. If you're down by 20, dude, that's like being down by six in soccer. There's or football for everyone who was abroad. Like there's almost no coming back from that, dude. And so uh, anyway, we're gonna take a look at this fight. Jinseo against Russia. Russia just took down Handipur from Iran, and I didn't really get to see the whole fight because it was a little bit spliced, but I know that Handipur is a pretty good fighter, dude. So this guy is no joke either, even though he looks pretty young. I know it's a high-scoring match, so it would be interesting to see how that went. Anyway, this is the match starting. Let's get into it. Oh, hold on, we gotta turn this down just a little bit. Okay, opening with the punch. Actually, on the aggression part. So generally tall fighter cuts. Blitz is on the inside. I don't know how to get rid of this. A lot of cancel. Not dealing with that, not letting him get his foot up there. Interesting here too. I know that I tell you guys to jockey under the armpit to try and lock it up. Something we can take away from Russia here actually is that you can see him holding, kind of pinching. Let's see it. You can kind of see this is the arm of Jinseo. This is the arm of Russia underneath that. So he's kind of pinching the whole arm. He's pinching the whole arm up, and so Jinsei can't really get any leverage to get out and push. Control. Oh man, let's go. Here we go. Really fast on the blitz. Ooh. So first move right away. In the clinch, I'm looking specifically because I mean the blitz game forward, you guys can do that. You just need enough explosiveness to do that. Um, it's more of it's more of his inside game tactics. Like what can we take away from this that you guys could use for your game? So what I'm seeing right here is, oh, that was a little bit too far. The blitz, not too much. Pushing under the armpits, I'm a proponent of that. Russia's leg is back here. I think Jun-Seo sees that, goes up top. Russia didn't really defend. Oh, also small nifty trick. I saw this. I remember the first time I watched Jun-Seo. I thought it was super interesting. Watch. I'm gonna play this in half speed. Like again, I'm gonna pause this a lot just because we're really picking apart Jun-Seo's tactics here. And by tactics, I mean the small little things he does in the clinch that make the difference. So here he's going to pull back. He has gripped on the Hogu. I'm not sure if this is going to be allowed or not allowed, but there's a grip on the Hogu, and you can see Russia's arm is stuck here, and it's stuck there. Usually you jockey for the underhand position to lock things up. I think Jinseo just lets him have that, has his arm on the outside, and kind of locks his arm there so he can no longer defend. It's gonna be no, not no longer, but it's gonna be a lot harder for him to defend his flank. Um, and so what you see from that is creating the opening, and this is on data. Keep in mind this is on data, so it's a little bit easier to score, in my opinion, than it is on KPNP. And because he's able to hold that part of the Hogu out and have the other arm locked up, or at least have it blocked over so he can't block that, Russia's only choice is try to evade that way or try to dodge the kick, and he's not able to do it. I mean, you can see how much this has turned. Like, this is Russia's back right here, and Jun-Seo's literally turned his Hogu to the back to create the opening. Like I said, you may or may not have called for this, but internationally, a little bit of grabbing is okay. And so that's if your referee's a little bit more free, that's something you can do. Just he literally has a Hogu in place because Russia's trying to turn out, and just said, "Well, screw that, dude," and he's holding the Hogu in place for the kick. Nice. Let's go back to normal speed. Oh, ooh, nice try to follow up. In with the clash right away. What's interesting too is after he gets the point, he doesn't give Russia a second to breathe. Like usually as a taller fighter, you kind of cut and you kind of keep him away if you want breathing time. Jinsei is dude, screw that man, and cut kick and back right into the clinch. You can see him gripping the Hogu. That's the trade. So the trade-off of doing this obviously is that your hands are down and that your hands are stuck because they're manipulating the Hogu. So small kicks like that are may get in. But what I like about Jin-Seo, what I saw in his game, which I thought was pretty fire, was he does not care if he gets scored on. Like he really doesn't care, and you can see him because he's drilling forward so much all the time. He's counting on his opponent to run out of gas, and if you're tall and you're skinny and your core isn't as strong, um, then you're probably going to give out in a pushing fight a lot faster than someone who's like actually built and been training to do that. Like the Korean welterweight in Asian Games in 2018. If you guys get your hands on those tapes or find Korea Asian Games 2018 Taekwondo, his whole game was based around pushing and waiting until his opponent kind of tired out, and then in the third round when you can't kick anymore because you haven't drilled, pushing for 6 minutes. He just keeps lighting up your Hogu. And mixing it up, body and face. Cancel right away. I wish they didn't zoom in right there. Okay, so also something to note here was his foot position. So he falls backwards. There's something. Well, he's falling backwards here, and is luckily able to defend. So as you can see, right before the Kalyo actually started, you can see one of his feet is here, right? The other foot isn't normally walk. It should be right here, but it's not, and it's because he's transitioned. He's taken a half step back to try and set up for a kick already. It's not. He's not passively or even at like he's not letting Russia push him back normally, and because he's changing directions, it's hard for Russia to manipulate him the way he wants. So as a smaller fighter, that's something you have to keep in mind. If you're getting pushed by a taller guy, you can't just keep going straight back. Otherwise, you'll end up in the position. Jun-Seo was here in the corner. He was able to turn it around, and now he's setting up for a kick. So keep that in mind when you guys are in the clinch as well. Oh, I was like, not bad, not bad. So why was this skip back kick something that's not really a bad idea? Not arbitrarily because I said it, but it's because like the first 5, 6 exchanges, Junsei has been going in with just a cancel. Like that's it. So most people cancel after the fourth or fifth time. They just expect the cancel. So the skip axe right here, not bad. Not a bad idea to try and go for that. I mean, he gets scored on. That's all right. Like I said, he doesn't. He really doesn't care right now. That's okay. That happens. Exchanges it right away. Let's see how he set this up. I want to see. I don't know if it's Russia just being uncognizant of what's happening, or if there's. Let's see if there's any footwork going on right here. There's so many little tips and tricks going on. So on the clinch, pushes. Ooh, let's try that one more time. I wish we had a better camera angle over here. Boom, headshot into the clinch. Oh, he forced him all the way out. That's like a Padachaki Crescent. Padachaki Crescent, I think he's using the leverage of the Hogu to jump even higher. That's what it looks like. To me, that's what it looks like. You guys have a different opinion, please comment below for 115 timestamp. 1 foot's in the air. Yeah. So Russia's trying his best to stay in bounds. I think Jun-Seo kind of just gives away when he goes for the crescent, but his foot isn't planted. His front foot switches back. This foot swings up, so it looks to me like a Padachaki crescent. And he's using because he knows Russia has to come in because he's at the edge of the ring. He's using Russia's own momentum against him right now. He's at the edge of the ring. For some reason, he's not called out. I think maybe it's a 2 foot rule now. Maybe it's because he's barely in right here. But as soon as he starts going back, he switches his front foot back and lifts that back leg. So instead of a pod jockey to the body, it's just boom, swings it up top. I feel like if I had more than 2 months before my tournament, this is something I might be able to start adding. But for you guys who are smaller, more flexible, a little bit more dynamic than me, this is definitely a tactic you can use. Nice. And okay, boom. I'm not sure why that cut. Holy cow! I don't. Okay, I'm not sure why that cut. I wish it didn't cut. I think it maybe just their feed. Um, Dude, I think Russia right now may just be kind of tired and is like, what the hell? But it's an interesting. That was the same thing though. There's a Padachaki crescent right here. Uh, so he sets his foot forward. He knows the momentum's coming. So instead of trying to push them back, which I've actually been a proponent of, and which I was taught. Instead of pushing them back for the crescent, he said, let's, because they're going to give away anyway, let's pod jockey on top and crescent. Because generally, when someone's pushing you, both their hands are down. So it makes sense that if they're going to give away, that their hands would be down, and so they're open to the head. Great job. Great job exploiting that. Let's see. Good try trying to swing it back. I I wish I could tell you how that got set up, but that's just the feed here is this got cut straight from here into the. I don't know what happened. I think it was a punch. It had to have been a punch. Nice try right there. Okay, yeah, if you're getting someone to the edge of the ring, you need to push and kick him out of the ring. You can't just push. They gave him the punch? Wow. That was a very lucky. Okay, that was a better punch. So maybe karma-wise, I made up for it. So another thing too is he doesn't let the main takeaway, main overall strategy takeaway right here is he doesn't kind of gauge the taller fighter and like try and guess where he's coming in a lot of times like some smaller fighters do. Um, in this in this in Junsei's strategy, it's to crowd the taller player at all times, and so or at almost all times, and so more often than not, I would say 8 out of 9 or 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 times he is coming in to cancel. He either cancels or is jumping in at the guy, and a lot of times off the blitz. Like it's not even I'm gonna wait for your front leg to come up. It's I will go in first with my front leg as a shield almost, and when you kick into that, that's cool. Now we're in a clinch. This is where I win. And he creates that scenario over and over. He doesn't try and feel out the taller player. He's not trying to sit back and like, let's try and guess when this front leg is gonna actually kick. It's kind of like I'm going to close in on you, and you can deal with it however you think is best. But good luck there, buddy. You see multiple times, and as soon as he's in on the inside, like I said, I'm not sure if you guys can use this tactic, but he's manipulating the Hogu on the inside to try and create the push. Another interesting thing. So I've always taught to block these kind of kicks with behind the head, kind of a Muay Thai block like that, all the way behind your head. That's how I've best defended this. But however you want to defend it is best. Is or however you feel comfortable and is effective is best. I would say is probably more accurate. Um, but what Jun-Seo and what I noticed Daehoon started doing against Bradley Sinden also is they just lean their head forward like that. Um, I mean, I don't know. I think because the kick targeting area is probably going to be exactly in front of this guy's face. For Sinden, I know that's exactly where his targeting is here. So the Koreans figured out if you just move your head to the side over this way, like 6 inches, then it's probably not going to hit you. So I notice Junsei is doing this now, and I notice in Roma when Daehoon fought Sinden again, that's what he started doing. As soon as the leg comes up, Daehoon just moved his head to the side, like to the side repeatedly. I've been a proponent of blocking it just because um, and I kind of just got more used to that. I was taught that by some Koreans from Chede, and it was effective for me against China. It's been effective for me. But if you guys want to try this out, go right ahead. I mean, dude, this guy won worlds. What's also interesting to note, what's also interesting to note was Jinsei is very heavy left leg dominant. He does some punching on his right hand. I think he does some punching on his left too. But for the most part, all of his kicks, if I remember correctly, have been out of his left leg, and so he just drilled the hell of his left leg. I've watched not the Sandapur fight because that was really spliced, but I watched another fight of him. I think at one of an Asian Open or Asia tournament, something like that, and he just would get into the clinch and just keep lifting his left leg. And I think at the fin weight minus 54 level, like for him it was almost like a joke. Like this is just like a kicking drill when I'm in training. He just kept hitting that left leg repeatedly. Like I said again, sometimes like okay, so there are 8 seconds left here, and instead of cutting and just kind of floating away and letting Russia kind of like waiting it out to the third round, which actually a lot of heavyweights like to do, is 10 seconds left. We're like, are we really gonna exchange right here? Probably not, man. So a lot of times, first round, last 10 seconds, a lot of heavyweights kind of just chill because we're not built like these guys, man. We're heavy. Junsei says, screw that, and let's give Russia less break and blitzes, and is still looking for points to score. That is actually really effective. That little side head dodge. Still looking for points. Still looking for points. He does not give Russia a chance to breathe at all. We're 15 seconds into the third round now, or second round. Looks like no points have been scored. Gumjung for holding. Also, so one more time, another thing to look forward to here is, like I said before, Jinsei doesn't give ground. Like he's almost always in, and he plays it very safe by using that cancel. Use that cancel to get in. Force Russia to play the pushing game where he's not going to be as strong. I really like that he's not afraid to play offense against Russia. Or against anyone in that matter, like against literally anyone in the division. This is the game plan. You go in, you cancel, you clinch, and you score points on the inside, and you do that more often than they score. That was a pretty good punch by Russia. Russia right now, I think, is just trying to hang on for dear life. Holy cow! We skipped. We missed like 12 points. All right. So as you can see here, 11 points later. The reason these skip axes work with the clinch, with the cancel and the cancel punch on the way in is because he cancels he cancels out of say 3 out of 4 times it's a cancel. He's coming in with a lead leg bent, and if you're too far, he'll shoot it out so that way it's counted as a kick. But for the most part, it comes in with a bent, and so the reason this axe kick works is because you can already see Rush's hands are down to try and brace for impact on the bottom part, and he's just like, nope, that's not it. Axe kick right there, or skip axe kick right there with that left. Resets. Good work, man. He's winning by 19 points in the finals of the World Championships. Like, holy cow. Russia's trying everything he can right now. And I think he knows Russia has to push, so he's kind of, nice try. Managing it. Now he's on the edge. As soon as he flipped the script, so he was on the edge, turn around, he rushes on the edge, flip the script, go for points. Ooh. In the throw. This must be so frustrating. And I feel so bad for this guy, man. Like, imagine being that young, beating all the legends he's probably beat, like Handapur, etc. He's up here now, and he's just getting, in a sense, almost destroyed. Dude, you're losing by more than 20 in the final. I would like to see. Holy cow! I'd like to see more of the round going on, but do they call him for falling? They didn't even call. They didn't call him for anything. Okay, interesting. Um, but you can see he's just pounding him with the left leg. Like he's just pounding this guy with his left, and I think Russia's at this point fighting on heart, and there's almost no cardio left in there. It's all heart from here, man. And he's trying to do what he can to weather the storm. I'm not sure if he's trying to even get points. Jun-Seo is still trying to get points because I'm sure this is going to go down in history as one of the highest scoring. Holy cow, Koreans. But yeah, so generally, this guy's super tired now. Third round, almost no energy left, full of openings. That was kind of like Daehun's game 2015, 2014. Let's literally keep prodding until third round they start giving out and they're breathing heavy. And when they're doing that and they can't kick to defend themselves, that's probably a pretty good time to go score points because they can't do anything about it anymore. Oh man, 30-point lead. For grabbing. Okay. Nice punch. Well, kind of. Russia's hanging on right. Like I don't know if you can tell. He's not even proactively doing anything. He's just holding on for stamina, or not for stamina. He's holding on because he has no stamina, and he's like, "Please stop kicking me." Like, oh man, I feel pretty bad for this guy. Um, yeah, okay, I'm not gonna. I might not comment as much. I'm sure the Russia coach is pissed. I'm not gonna comment as much because imagine going into it with with this kind of a height advantage and knowing what the game plan was and still not being able to beat it. That's how you know you're good at your game, by the way. If people know what your game plan is and they still can't beat it. That's a pretty good game plan. Um, so he's trying now, I think, just because he's able to get a couple seconds of break, and dude, Jinsei is just putting him more and more into the ground. Uh, so main takeaways as a smaller fighter watching Jun-Seo in this, one, you need to have good physical ability. And by physical ability, I mean stamina and your ability to withstand and dictate in the clinch. He's not fighting, whatever. Yes, I'm just gonna sum this up, dude. This is gone. He's like more than 25 points already in the third round of the World Championship final. So sum up, if you're a smaller fighter, you need to be physical in the clinch. Like that's what Jinsei's been doing. Second, he's not letting the taller fighter dictate the pace of the match. Usually, a lot of smaller fighters will kind of wait till and like pray in a way till that the taller fighter stops kicking or he can intercept or overshoot on one of them. Jun-Seo says, "Screw that! I'm going to go in on you, and you're going to deal with me in the clinch now." And he does that, keeping him safe by coming in with that front leg cut up, front leg bent and cut, so that way. In case there's a cancel, that's fine because in a cancel I can reach for your Hogu now and follow and try and make things happen there. If he moves back, Jun-Seo has that extended to a cut, so that way he doesn't get called. Um, and I guess he's very good at defending his head. I would assume that if someone kept doing that, you'd shoot a lot of short axe kicks. But if he's able to defend that and then you have to fight in the clinch, I think you might stop doing the axe kicks and worry more about the clinch. Third point, in the clinch, he's very good at manipulating the Hogu. Like he turns the Hogu kind of the way he wants. He has a kick specially designed against pushing, where if he is not able to if he's not able to push you back to create the openings I think that he wants. He has a left leg Padachagi axe, which goes up and it's hard to defend because you're the one pushing. So you'd have to be pushed and then like flick your hand up or something and hope that gets up there. He does have a punch on both hands. And yeah, but the main overall strategy is cancel and disrupt the first front leg and get inside the clinch as soon as possible and get ready to push. And if you're a smaller fighter and you're not ready to fight the pushing clinch game, I'm not sure what you're expecting to happen because in the long range game, you lose that game because he's taller, obviously. So you need to look into the clinch and dictate the fight from there, which is exactly what Jun-Seo does here. I know another smaller fighter, the one that lost to the Russian here actually was Handipur. Handipur likes to fight not really so much in the clinch as much, but he likes to fight right on distance, and so he dictates the fight right on distance. Um, but in both fighters, you can see that they're not pulling back, they're not giving the tall guy any space. And Jinsei especially is not giving the tall guy any space because um, he cancels. He comes in and cancels like 4 out of 5 times, like 7, 8, 9 out of 10 times, and every now and then he comes in with the axe kick to keep you honest. Because if you're just expecting the cancel, you can just there's a lot of stuff you can do if you just use the same variable. Jinsei, knowing that he uses cancel, is like, well, a good variation off of this cancel is a skip axe kick because, like you saw earlier, Rush's hands go down. He's expecting the cancel to come in, but the axe kick's coming on top. So today's video, I think, is a little bit shorter. If I no, actually, it's about half an hour, about the same as always, guys. Um, but once again, great fighter. If you have any more clips of this guy or full tapes, please let me know so I can watch it. Maybe we can watch his progression from here on going forward. Um, and I'm very much looking forward to watching this guy more often to help us smaller fighters out a little bit more. Um, well, that's it, guys. I'll see you guys next week, and hopefully by then I'll actually have a mic to talk to you guys with instead of just this awesome little stand I bought. But yeah, that's it. Have a good week.